What's up, agents? Zero here, welcome back to yet another Minecraft video, and as you can obviously tell, this is going to be a lot different from the videos that I normally make, because today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own custom resource packs inside of Minecraft, and all I'm going to be showing you guys is simply like texture editing. There is actually also a way to go ahead and allow you to change the names within the files of the game, which I'm going to be explaining that as well. And one thing I do want to mention that is that there are certain people who are able to make custom models for certain things, and they do an incredible job. My Pixtail resource pack that I use on a regular basis, which was made by Innova technically, is a perfect example of that. Unfortunately, I am not knowledgeable on that manner. I do apologize if that's the kind of thing you were hoping to get into. I'm not going to be going into that. Like I said, I'm not knowledgeable on that. But yeah, so you're going to need a few things. First off, you're going to need a file explorer, a file zipper / unzipper. Certain file explorers will have that built in. And by the way, no 7-zip or zarchive or anything extra like that. It's going to be regular .zip files. Keep that in mind. You're also going to need image editing programs that will let you go down directly to the pixel, and also you're going to need text editing files as well. And I'm going to do my absolute best to be as simple in explaining this as possible. If you guys get confused at all, then there are other resources that you can go ahead and look at to get you a little extra help. So first off, you need to go to Minecraft.net, and it took me to n-us by default just by typing the name, probably because that's kind of where I live. So you want to go ahead and click on this button right here and scroll all the way down to where you see this button right here that says add-ons. Go ahead and click on that, and you want to go ahead and scroll down until you see this set of text right here, and you want to go ahead and click on this resource packs button, and this will actually download the resource pack to the most updated version of Minecraft, technically Bedrock Edition. Java Edition players, I apologize, but this is the kind of content that I showcase is Bedrock Edition content. I realize you probably are looking for other things, but you guys obviously have your other resources. But anyway, you go ahead and click on that. I actually already have this downloaded, so I at least have that. And you're also going to need to unzip it. Like I said, it is downloaded by default as a .zip file, but I went ahead and already unzipped it to go ahead and basically better explain this. And as you can tell, there's a lot of folders and files inside of this thing, and I'm only going to be covering a small amount of these, just simply because it's what I'm most familiar with. There are obviously other things you can do than what I'm just about to show you, but this is the simplistic kind of thing for editing the resource pack. So first off, you have this pack icon.png, which before I go any further, everything that you're going to edit texture wise has to be saved as PNG. That is what Minecraft actually reads. And you guys are probably familiar with these pack icons in at least some way, because when you install them, you have these custom pictures next to the actual resource pack. That's really all this actually does. You also have this manifest.json file, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. You have this text file, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. But the thing we're going to focus on first right now is the actual texture. So you go ahead and open this up. As you can obviously tell, there's a lot of stuff for you to go ahead and go through. You can obviously change like blocks, entities, the GUI or GUI. Some people actually prefer to pronounce it. I'm not one of those people. I apologize. You can edit items. So yeah, you can edit pretty much anything texture wise. I'm going to be focusing on blocks in this particular case, and as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff that you can go ahead and go through, and this is actually where your texture editing program, your picture editing program comes in. So let me go ahead and jump into that. Okay, so I'm currently using a program called Pixel Maker Pro, which is an Android program off of Google Play Store, and it does cost, unfortunately, I do not remember how much it costs, probably 99 cents, 1.99, something like that, I imagine. I'll make sure to have it looked up by the time I'm editing this video. But obviously, any picture editing program that goes down on the Pixel on pretty much any platform will end up working. This is just what I'm personally familiar with, because obviously this is touchscreen control, so it's actually going to be really simple. And we're actually currently looking at the Sea Lantern texture. First, we're going to look at a normal block texture in just a little bit, but as you can tell, we've got ourselves a long strip here. This right here, as far as my program is concerned, this is the entire texture for the actual Sea Lantern itself, and that's because in this particular instance, the Sea Lantern is actually an animated block. I don't know how many of you guys actually look close enough at this block to actually see this. I imagine some of you probably have, but yeah, these are the individual animations. So for an example like the Sea Lanterns, you're going to need to individually edit each of these so the game realizes to go ahead and make the individual animations, because obviously it's a frame by frame thing. So yeah, keep in mind. Let's go ahead and open up an existing drawing, and I'm already inside the proper file folder. So if I go ahead and open up like I just opened, I opened up the Bedrock texture, and this is obviously just one block because every side's going to be the same. Obviously the same can be said about the Sea Lantern, but like I said, technically it's an animated texture. But yeah, if I were to go ahead and edit this, and by the way, this is just simply an example, and I'm not going to go ahead and end up saving it, and also I'm well aware this is not going to look great. I'm literally only showing off an example. So if I were to go ahead and do something along these lines, like maybe add a little bit of green, obviously it doesn't make a lot of sense for Bedrock, and maybe add some of this blue. If I were to go ahead and save this and put it into my resource pack, then this is actually what Bedrock will end up looking like. And one thing I have not mentioned just yet is that you can do the exact same thing using a 32 by 32 canvas, and also I'm sure 64 by 64, and I think the next one up, 128 by 128, will also work, just to add extra detail into the game. And I actually have done this with 32x resource packs before, so this does actually end up working with that. So you save this. Now let's go ahead and get into some text editing files as far as resource packs are concerned. And we actually have two different text files that we need to go ahead and look at. Okay, so remember this manifest.json file that I wanted to go ahead and talk about. Obviously, it's not a text file, it's a JSON file, but this is technically a text file when you go ahead and open it up. And depending on the text editor that you have, you can either open this directly, which I technically can, or you can rename this to a .text file, edit what you need to edit, and then make sure you rename it back after you save it back to a .json file, because Minecraft needs to be able to read this, and the .json file actually is what it reads. So let's go ahead and open this up, and this is actually what you guys are gonna end up seeing. So there are a few things that you need to go ahead and look at. First off, the name right here. Obviously this is what you're naming your resource pack, so you can obviously change this to whatever you want to name your resource pack. This is obviously what Minecraft is gonna read and display in the resource pack section. You have your description, which this is also part of the resource packs section. The description is up here and also down here. From what I read online, it only reads this top part, and this bottom part does not make any difference whatsoever. However, personally, and this is something I would actually recommend to you guys as well, personally I would recommend going ahead and making sure both of these are exactly the same as each other. Like I said, I am not, what I read online is that the bottom one does not matter, but I would rather be safe, just to keep that in mind. And then lastly, you have these UUID string texts up here and down here. You may notice that both of these are different from each other. Now, Minecraft reads this part of the .json files to know exactly what resource pack it is as far as a coding standpoint is concerned. At least that's what I'm assuming. And then the rest of it is just simply displayed in the GUI or GUI, whatever you guys decide to call it. But yeah, this is the important part as far as Minecraft reading the coding is concerned. Now, we're actually going to go ahead and hop back onto our browser in order to go ahead and explain this, exactly why this is necessary, or at least attempt to. Now, I actually ended up finding this particular web page from browsing through Google, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that this is also listed somewhere on the Minecraft.net webpage, or either that or was the Minecraft Wiki. I'm not 100% sure, not that it really matters. But yeah, you're going to need to go to this website, and I want to imagine that if you do a simple Google search, you can probably find something similar to this, but I find this incredibly simple to go ahead and use, which is the exact reason why I'm actually showing off this particular website. So, like you guys saw, the UUIDs inside of the manifest.json files, and you also saw that those two texts are actually 100% different from each other. And also, like I said, this is what Minecraft actually reads as far as coding is concerned. So you're going to need to take that manifest.json file, whatever other changes that you made. As I said, this is just GUI related, so that doesn't really matter. This is the important part. What you want to do is go ahead and copy this and then paste this onto one of your UUID text strings, and then you're also going to end up needing to generate a second one. They actually are required to be 100% different from each other, so do keep that in mind. So you're going to need to generate two different ones, and there is this very convenient copy button right here, which I have used. It actually does exactly what it's supposed to. So you go ahead and click on this, copy paste it to that text string, and then copy paste a second one to the other text string. So yeah, there's that. Now we only have a few more things to go ahead and end up talking about, and first off is this text folder. So this is basically, like, obviously the text that Minecraft displays as far as GUI is concerned and other things, and I'm going to talk about this as briefly as I can. So I'm going to be looking at this n_us.lang file because this is what I personally am going to be working with, depending on where you live and what language you end up speaking, and whatever country you're in, you're going to be using something different, obviously. But this is just to give a general idea, like the manifest.json file. If it actually is easier on you, rename this to .text, edit it, save it, and rename it to .lang. Otherwise, if your text editor can read this sort of thing, then just simply open it. So this is just simply the text that Minecraft displays for a number of different things. So what I'm going to go ahead and quickly do is I'm going to go ahead and search for wool, and let's go ahead and search this up. So let me go ahead and scroll all the way down to this section right here. So as you can tell, we've got ourselves tile.wool.color.name, and goes for this entire list. And then it says exactly what the name of all of these are. Now, say for example, and this is a completely unrealistic example, but I'm giving example at least. Say for example, you want to rename your blue wool to lapis wool for whatever reason. I realize lapis is no longer technically referred to as a dye, but let's go with it. So you can actually change this from blue wool to lapis wool, and then when it's displayed in-game, either in creative inventory or obviously in survival, since you can get this stuff in survival, it will actually display lapis wool instead of blue wool, which is a very well-used alternative to renaming it in an anvil. And there's actually a caveat to this that you need to keep in mind. If you have multiple resource packs that use these lang files with different names, actually let me go ahead and quickly get on Minecraft and at least attempt to explain what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so these are all the resource packs that I currently have installed, and obviously at least installed onto the main game itself, and obviously I have other resource packs down here. Those don't matter for the sake of this video. But yeah, so here's what I was trying to explain with the .lang files, and this actual example does not apply to the resource packs that I currently have installed at the moment, but I have to explain this at least in some aspects so you guys get an idea of what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you guys will. Maybe. I don't necessarily know. We'll have to find out, but regardless. So if you have multiple of these resource packs installed that have had these .lang files rename something, like for example this Pixtail, again another example that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I have to give an example anyway. Say for example this Pixtail resource pack renamed the Trident to Underwater Arrow, again like I said unrealistic but whatever, and this Lower Fire had a .lang file that renamed specific Lower Fire to something else. I'm not creative enough to think of something. I realize I did the same thing with this, but whatever. So Minecraft actually reads these files from bottom to top. So it starts off with the classic Minecraft resources down the way at the bottom, which is going to be on by default. You cannot turn that off. All the way up to lower files is going to read that. Faithful, Screenshot, Pixtail, Simple Size, Lower File in that particular order. So like I said, something renamed in Pixtail, something renamed in Lower Fire. Lower File is going to end up taking precedence over the Pixtail. So something renamed in Pixtail will not matter. Everything renamed in Lower Fire will end up matter. Well, it will matter. So do keep that in mind. This is something I actually have encountered problems with personally. So this is something you do want to go ahead and at least keep in mind. And there's one final thing that I do want to at least talk about, and that's actually packaging the file for other people to use. And this is actually probably the simplest part of the entire process. Now here is the final step that I do want to go ahead and discuss with you guys, and these are two different resource packs you guys probably already technically saw in the Minecraft clip. These are both resource packs that I am currently working and experimenting on. Personally, these are my personal projects. It's this Tetramino concrete pack, both normal and 32x. I think you guys can probably guess the idea behind this, and if not, well, basically it's supposed to be like Tetris blocks. It's technically what Tetramino is. I love Tetris. I'm sure I probably never mentioned that before, but you guys get the point. But yeah, so if I go ahead and open this up, actually before I go ahead and open this up, how do you go ahead and package these for other people to use? Well, first off, go ahead and grab this, go into your ability to go ahead and compress this. Is going to turn it into a .zip folder. I'm actually going to go ahead and click on this button. I realize it says cancel right there, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this because I'm not going to do that right now. But yeah, that's how you zip it. Now obviously this does not work with every single Bedrock Edition platform. Technically you have to use a different kind of file extension than .zip. So how do you actually go about doing that? Well, actually it's pretty simple, all things considered. What you want to do is go ahead and take all these files, every single one of them, make sure you're inside the folder and not looking at the folder. So you're taking your text, textures, manifest, packet, con, whatever else you decide to go ahead and change. Make sure you have all this highlighted. Go ahead and compress this. Make sure it's a zip. If you would rather turn it to a 7-zip, you can, but it's not going to make a difference in just a moment. So we went ahead and did that. And we now have our .zip file. And what we want to go ahead and do is take this, rename this. And what you want to go ahead and do is rename this to MC Pack. go ahead and rename it to that. And this is actually what you're going to end up needing to install if you're on, say for example, Windows 10 or iOS, or if you just simply want a quick install without File Explorer nonsense inside of Android. And as far as Xbox and Switch are concerned, I don't know if this is possible. It might be, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't use those platforms. But yeah, this is what you would install, and this is how you would make the MC pack. And other than that, you are now 100% done getting your resource pack done, at least for what I went ahead and showcased to you guys. Like I said, if I go ahead and go back to the actual vanilla resource pack, like I said, there's obviously a ton of other stuff that you can go ahead and look at, but this is just basically everything that I am personally familiar with. So this is actually when I'm going to go ahead and end things off. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, to make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zero Stews. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I'll see you guys later.